Hello guys, in today's video we are going to talk about alchemy. I'm going to show you how to make profit with alchemy, how you can make a lot of gold with alchemy, also how I do to make a lot of gold with alchemy, but also the cons of alchemy, why it can be a really hard and bad profession in the current expansion. So the plans is to start by giving you the very basics, how you can get your recipes with alchemy, also what profession equipment to use and what specialization you can go for all of the different ways to make gold in alchemy. I'm also gonna show you some of the recipes and crafts that I make to make my gold with alchemy, so maybe you can get inspired and make some gold yourself. If you guys haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. I have a goal of reaching 3,000 subscribers before the end of the year. Also like the video, but let's get started. By the way, I will include one of the most important things with alchemy later in the video, so make sure you watch until the end so you get to know every tip and trick. So the basics of alchemy is to craft potions and flasks. Also nowadays you can convert materials into other materials using the thaumaturgy, which is new in the War Within. This has been really interesting so far, and we will talk a little bit more about that soon. But basically, to get your recipes in alchemy, it's a little bit special because you will have to actually do the meticulous experimentation and the wild experimentation. So it's kind of RNG based how fast you actually can acquire your recipes, but if you actually push it and do it as often as you can, usually you will get what you want fairly soon. So it's a little bit different in terms of getting your recipes from other professions. In this one you actually are like cooldown based, but you can do this as many times until it like gives you a debuff, then you have to wait 10 minutes and then you can do it again. And the meticulous is like a one-time thing per day to do as well. So it's a little bit different, but it's not that hard and you will probably understand it as soon as you start. But for the actual equipment for alchemy, you're going to want to have the multi-craft tool and the other two blue accessories, of course. Alchemy is pretty much the most min-maxed profession in the game, I feel like, so it's mandatory to have them all pretty much. Also, the tool depends a little bit if you're going for the potion and flask build or if you're going for the thaumaturgy build, because in thaumaturgy you will actually need the resourcefulness tool instead of the multicraft one, so it's a little bit dependent on what you actually want to do with it. But it's either multicraft or resourcefulness. I would recommend the multicraft, but it's either multicraft or resourcefulness. So for the specialization of this profession, this is going to actually be quite heavy. Alchemy is probably the most knowledge points heavy profession out there, and this is by far, I think, the hardest one to get into as a new profession. So learning alchemy will take you some time to actually get sped up and be like on the same level as everybody else. But let's first look at the thaumaturgy specialization, which I don't have on this character. So for thaumaturgy, you're actually going to need pretty much all of the points in here. You're going to want to have all of the 4 down here. Also, you're gonna want to max this one out, but you're not gonna need a transmutation. This is only for your cooldown crafts, which is not like the mass build stuff. So this is only if you're like having a alchemy for like the cooldown crafts, which I don't really recommend. But of course, when you get too much points, you can spend them in here if you want. Also for thaumaturgy, you're gonna want to have the alchemical mastery base thing here, because that will give you some resourcefulness. It will actually not give you that much more, but it will give you skill, which can be really important in thaumaturgy, because then you can like convert rank 2 herbs eventually, and skill is going to be important like in the higher level thaumaturgy when you are min-maxed. But I would highly recommend you guys to go for the thaumaturgy and this spec first. Until you have all of this, you're not going to see any kind of profit, I'd say, because it's a min-maxy and the margins are slimmer. So I would not recommend going for thaumaturgy right now unless you're going to pair it with a full stack of pretty much all other professions, so you can use all of the mats that you get out of thaumaturgy, because that is pretty much the only way to make this a lucrative profession specialization, I would say. Otherwise, I would just skip this and either go for the potion or flask build, because this one is really time consuming as well. So I would not go for thaumaturgy right now, at least. It might be better in the future. Right now, it's not the best in my opinion. Also, for the potion craft, you are going to want 30 points in potent potions, 25 in bulk productions, absolutely mandatory. You're not going to be able to see any kind of profits if you're not min-maxed in alchemy most likely, and this one is absolutely mandatory. You need to have this, and this is for the potions build. Then you will have to go into alchemical mastery. Of course, you're going to want to fill this out, so you get skill, you get resourcefulness, you get multi-craft in here as well, and a lot of skill, which is absolutely mandatory. Then, depending on what you craft, you're going to need to fill out those trees down here as well. As you guys can see, I have a lot of knowledge in alchemy. I have been doing this pretty much since the start a little bit, so I am just behind like 10 points or something from being maxed. But you need to fill out the ones that you're crafting with. So for example, if you're starting out first and you want to be able to do the healing potions, maybe see some profits with them and make them in rank 3, you're going to want to start with Mycobloom, since that is the only herb that is used in the healing potion. So you're going to start out with the Mycobloom, and this is going to give you different stats using the Mycobloom. So those nodes are really important here as well. So you're gonna get like resourcefulness, you're gonna get, I think, some multi-craft in here somewhere too. There we go. And you're gonna get a lot of skill for the craft as well. So this is absolutely mandatory to get if you craft stuff with Mycobloom. All of those nodes are pretty much the same, so you're looking at filling all of them out depending on what craft you want to do. But let's say you want to start with the healing potion, you go with the Mycobloom. If you want to do the mana potion, then you go with Blessing Blossom. Maybe like you need to fill them both out pretty much to be able to make profit. If you want to go with like the most used hard competitive potion, I'd say it's the tempered potion, the high-end craft. You need to fill all of those 3 out. It's not going to be able probably to make profit without it. And if you're gonna wanna make it rank 3, you absolutely need all of the skill as well. But it's a really min-maxy profession, and it will require you to have a lot of points. So you cannot start alchemy today and make profit. It's going to be impossible. This is the most competitive profession, the most min-maxy in this expansion. So it is like hard to get into, but when you're into it, you can see some good profits depending on if you have the last thing that I'm gonna let you know soon. But for the flask build, it is pretty much the same as the potion build. You need 30 points into the fantastic flasks, and you're going to need the bulk productions pretty much. Now I don't have enough points yet, but I'm working on it. So then you're going to want to go for all in here to get skill and good multicraft and other stats as well. So this is absolutely mandatory to see profits in flasks as well. If you want to do files, you actually have to get the bulk production as well, because this gives you 4 files and flasks. So you want to go here to the bulk production first. This is the only thing that is going to impact flasks. Then you want to head into the files, because this one is just going to give you stuff for the files. But first, work your way down to bulk production, finish this one out because this is the most important. Then you can get the files if you want to, but I'd recommend you probably to go for the nodes in here once again, because it's the same as potions. You're going to need all of those as well for the same stats as you get for the potions, the multicraft, the resourcefulness, the skill, and everything. So you're going to want to go into the herbs here that you're going to use for your crafts. So it's like kind of important to choose the correct one here in the beginning, so you can craft when you're like actually finished with some of them. Because if you randomly pick, you might not be able to craft any of the potions or flasks because you have like in split and wrong nodes. So I highly recommend you guys to like check what you want to craft first, then you can pick here and go for it. Eventually, of course, you will get all of the points, but it's going to take you a while from alchemy, since the only way to catch up is through the patron orders. So it will take you quite some time, and it requires you a lot of points to get min-maxed. That's why, like, I would say it is a really good profession if you min-max it fully and you are really going ham with alchemy. Being min-maxed, you can probably make a lot of profits. Craft sim is a little bit skewed, I know, as well in here. For example, the tempered potions rank 3 I think is not calculating properly. I have done 10,000 craft, which I have made a calculation sheet in my spreadsheet that probably gives you the correct data. It was like a while ago, but I was min-maxed when I did it, and I saw like the numbers are not properly calculating. It might be the same for other recipes here as well, so might be good to have spreadsheets as well for alchemy. I have a little bit in my Discord channel, but not yet a lot. I will more update it after we get the new resourcefulness file that we should get at the 21st of December. Then I will do more updates to my cheat and hopefully get some more crafts in there. The crafts that I usually make the most of is actually the healing potion. This has been really good for me, making it in both rank 3 and rank 2. It has been better rank 3 lately. In the more early stages of the expansion, I made a lot of quality 2 potions, but now I've made quite some quality 3. You can see some good profits in it a lot of the times. Also, I have been doing quite a lot of the mana potion. It has been doing decently well as well. I have done some of the Cave Dweller's Delight. It's not selling as fast, but I have done quite a bit actually of the rank 3 one as well. It has been selling fairly okay, but you can't craft too many and expect them to sell too fast. And for the potions here, I have crafted quite some tempered potions. Those are very competitive and can fluctuate a bit in price. You really want to like test out this market before you go ham into it, because it's a little bit difficult in my opinion. So I recommend you to start small and of course work your way up. And something that have sold so good is the Draught of the Silent Footfalls. Basically, it gives you invisibility. I sell this a lot in rank 3. I'm not sure really why it sells so good, but it actually has been really good, and you can sell quite a few of them, but it's not like the regular potions like healing potions or tempered potions where you can sell like thousands upon thousands a day. This is going to like cap out. Of course, you're not gonna be able to sell like 20,000 of those every day, but you can sell a couple of hundred, maybe 1,000 if you're active at the market, and you can get some great profits. Of course, the numbers are skewed here now because I'm not optimized in the reagents that you see here. And for the flasks, as of this character, I have not done too much of the flask actually. I know that the Alchemical Chaos is used a lot. It's a very good flask. You can probably make profit with all of those except the Saving Graces. I don't think this one is good. It's probably really bad. It's used with leveling as well, I think, so it's really bad. But the other ones here, you can probably see some great profits in all of them, but I think the Alchemical Chaos probably sells the most. But as I said, you need to be min-maxed in spec. Files can be good as well if you have the correct spec. I have not been too much into it. I'm working my way there, but it's going to take me a while. But files can definitely be really good as well. The True Sight is good. A lot of farmers use it, like gatherers. The Bountiful Season is actually good as well. It gives you finesse right now, but soon it will swap over and it will give you resourcefulness. So then every crafter is going to want this file, which can be really good, and it will still hold a good demand when it swaps over. And Ingenuity Flasks is used by a lot of concentration alts as well. They use it and log out pretty much. It can be really good as well. All of the files can be good, so it's up to you if you want to go with files or potions build or the thaumaturgy. It's totally up to you. You can pick whatever you want. They should be all pretty good, but the thaumaturgy one is harder because you need to combine it a lot with other professions to see like any kind of profits, I would say. Otherwise, it's not going to be worth it. You're going to spend hours and hours for just a couple of coins. Okay, but now I'm going to tell you the last thing that is really important in this expansion with alchemy. I'm not sure like how Blizzard done this, why they did it like this, but for example, me here, I am a goblin. I get 5 extra skill points in alchemy. If you're not a goblin, you have 5 skill points less, and this might not seem a lot. You might think like, that doesn't really impact. In other profession, it doesn't really impact this hugely, but in alchemy, it's insane. So I would say don't even bother starting an alchemist without being goblin, because it's going to be useless. You are going to compete with people that's going to be able to craft all of the things that you craft for way cheaper. Okay, so for example, a regular alchemist that is not a goblin would only be able to craft the Algori healing potions at rank 3 when they are min-maxed using 5 rank 3 microbloom and 1 rank 2. This is going to be the cheapest alternative for the min-maxed other races, but for goblin you can actually use 3 microbloom rank 2 instead of 1, which is significantly going to increase the profit you can make on every potion and lower your crafting cost, of course. Yeah, so the difference is going to be huge. If you look at something else, for example, tempered potion, me as a goblin, I can actually use 2 lore drop rank 2 instead of 4 when I am min-maxed. So my crafting cost, I will save actually 2 lore drops by being a goblin. I think min-maxed alchemist that is not a goblin can use 1 rank 2 still, which is going to lower their crafting cost when they are min-maxed. But we are actually lowering our crafting cost per potion by about 80 more gold per craft, and that is going to be ridiculously much for something that has slim margins and which is going to be like impossible for other people that is not goblin to compete, because they are never going to see green numbers because they are competing against people that are crafting them basically 80 gold cheaper paper every craft. How are they gonna match that? It's just impossible. So make a goblin, it's going to be crucial. And of course, guys, I think I forgot to include this earlier, but when you have the talents that we have, you're actually going to get the flask spillover buff. So as you can see here, if I craft 9 potions or 10, I get a stack every time I craft a potion, which is the spillover buff. It caps out at 10, but this is giving you a lot of extra stats, as you can see. So you will have to do this before you check for profits, because this gives you 240 more resourcefulness and multicraft, which is going to be huge. So you will not see correct numbers without using this buff, of course. So make sure you use the buff. It is absolutely crucial. And as you guys can see, it's just -6 gold here right now. Probably not accurate numbers. I'm not sure, because you will have to do some manual calculation or use a spreadsheet for this. But alchemy is going to be one of the most competitive and hard to get into professions. And I would actually not recommend this to new people, because it's so hard to get into. If you already have an alchemist, that is good to go. It's nice. You can start working on one, of course, but it's going to take you time to get into it. So if you have low gold, or if you want to start crafting soon, don't start with alchemy. Go with something else that is easier to set up. I hope this video gave you some kind of value. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to the channel. Watch some of my other videos. I have a lot of other profession videos. Leave a like, and I'll see you guys in the next video or live stream. Goodbye.